All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. It is January 25th, 9:02 a.m. And to all my friends, thank you very much for being on the call. I do appreciate it. We've got a few things to cover. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We will have a special guest, Mr. Ron Landeres from Cigna, but I'm going to grill him a little bit. And I think I have some great ideas that will help you on today's call. But first of all, let's go through what we normally do. There are trainings this week, so I'm going to share my calendar here. Just so you know, I am doing a video call of this session, and I do that every week. So if you prefer to actually be on the computer and watch this, it might make a little bit more sense to you because we're going to be covering some screen share stuff from time to time. But if you just call in, that's fine too. Or if you want to reference back into this video, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can see everything that I'm sharing and all the videos and everything like that. So, but I figured I'd share the training calendar for you too. And as a reminder, guys, if you don't have this training calendar hooked up on your phone, your laptop, or your iPad, please get with Jonathan because you know, these trainings are happening a lot more frequently now that we've gotten through AEP, and the last thing I want is you guys scrambling to figure out, you know, how to sell a certain plan or, you know, what's going on out there in the industry. So this morning, first training up is at 11 a.m. Devoted is hosting their coffee and chat session. This is for the Orlando market, but anyone that's selling Devoted health plans can jump on this call and ask any questions that they might have. Specifically, anything from marketing to sales strategies or plan information, they're there for you. So that's today at 11. Moving on, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, which is Tuesday the 26th, United Healthcare is doing their training session for their core plans. So if you're a little rusty on United Healthcare or you're looking for some more information on their core plans, you can join in that call at 1 o'clock. At 3 o'clock on Tuesday, Humana is doing a retention training, and I'm going to stress retention right now because it's OEP and all that hard work you put into AEP or even your own book of business that you've had for several years. Guys, the back door is still open. Your clients can make one more change before March 31st, and so, you know, do you have a pulse on your clients? Have you talked to them? Do you know where their head's at? Are they happy with the plan? Are they happy with your service? Are they referring business to you? You know, if that's not happening, then maybe jump on this call at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and Humana will be doing that retention training. I think it would be very, very good. I don't care if you've been in this business for 16 years. I think that retention is critical, and I can always learn something new when it comes to retention strategies and plays. So take that into consideration. Wednesday, the 27th, WellCare is doing an OEP training. Again, they're going to be covering everything WellCare and giving you some additional strategies for OEP. That's at 9 o'clock on the 27th. At 11 o'clock on the 27th, United Healthcare is doing their DSNP training. As many of you know, they have made changes to their DSNP program in Florida. They've moved it over to a new product. So if you're not familiar with what's happened there, please jump on that call at 11. They've got some great plans on their DSNP as well. Also on the 27th, 3 o'clock, that same WellCare OEP training is in Spanish. So if you prefer Espanol, jump on there, 3 o'clock on Wednesday. And on the 27th as well, 4 o'clock, Simply is doing their M Producer training. And that's their online enrollment tool, but it also is their broker portal. So you can go in there and check commissions, look at your book of business, and then grab resources such as provider directories and things like that. That's the M Producer training, 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Moving on to Thursday, the 28th, Humana is doing another retention class. So if you can't make the one on Tuesday at 3, they're hosting another one on Thursday at 11. So again, retention, right? 11:30 on Thursday, Devoted is doing their coffee and chat session for the Jacksonville market. Again, anyone can join if you're looking to get a Devoted update You're looking for opportunities because they do have them. Only those agents that show up get opportunities, right? So check out that and make sure you know and have a relationship with your sales managers. That's why I think one of the main critical pieces of these marketing trainings and trainings that are happening right now is to help you build a relationship with those sales managers. So that's at 11:30 on Thursday. On Thursday, 1 o'clock, the 28th, many of you have been asking me about Facebook. How do I market on Facebook? Well, we got a class, 1 o'clock, Thursday. Humana is hosting their Facebook marketing training. Excellent, excellent training. Those that join, they've got some great strategies on how to grow your business with using Facebook. You can do it free, or you can pay for advertisements and things like that. We're glad to help you build out strategies when it comes to your Facebook marketing. So, but you got to know the basics. So Thursday, 1 o'clock, Facebook marketing training. Also Thursday, 2 o'clock, United Healthcare is doing their C-SNP training. Yes, United Healthcare does have chronic condition plans. If you're unfamiliar or you didn't know that, hey, probably a good idea to jump on that class, Thursday, 2 o'clock. Friday, WellCare is doing that OEP training again, this time in Spanish. So Espanol, 9 o'clock, Friday morning, that's the 29th. And then last training for the week is on that Friday, 3 o'clock. WellCare is doing that OEP training again in English. So you can end your week with WellCare, taking a look at their OEP training and just updates, anything and everything WellCare. You just make sure that you got everything in order. They're running through this gamut of trainings right now. Guys, if you have time, spend an hour, hour and a half brushing up. As I say always, you should have one foot in the classroom and the other one in the field at all times. That's just the name of the game, right? Okay, so we were talking about OEP, what you should be doing right now, and clients, right? Clients. You should be calling your clients. No secret, #1 lead source for this last AEP, and most likely for this OEP, is referrals. So how do you generate referrals? If you sit back and just wait for your phone to ring and you're hoping that you get referrals, well, I hate to say it, hope is not a strategy, okay? So what can you do to generate referrals with your clients? And it's building those relationships, calling them, texting them, emailing them, adding them on Facebook, sending them a thank you card, sending them a Valentine's Day card. But hey, Justin, doesn't that seem like overkill? Well, the strategy really is if you've talked to them this month, you can wait till next month to do something different. But I personally believe that a mix of contact is really, really important. And, if this month you call all your clients, then next month maybe send them all an email, okay? And then the following month, add them all on Facebook. And then the following month, send them something in the mail. And then the following month, send them all a text message. And I'll be happy to tell you that most of your clients now are text savvy, okay? And if you tell me, my clients are 80 years old, 90 years old, well, I'll tell you what, my grandmother is in her 80s, and she is texting me more than she calls me. So that excuse is invalid these days, okay? They just know how to text. They know how to get on Facebook. They know how to do emails. If you had told me that 10 years ago, I might have believed you. But right now, it's not the case, okay? Everyone's got a smartphone, okay? So, some people are more savvy than others. I get it. But, there's so many different ways to contact your customers and just build that relationship. So what do you talk about? Go back to that Humana retention training, that 3 o'clock on Tuesday or that 11 o'clock on Thursday, and they're going to give you tips and tricks on what you need to be talking about. Did you get your ID card? Did you visit that doctor? Did you go to the gym you were so excited about? Did you order your OTCs? In fact, let me help you. But here's a big one, guys. How many of your clients qualify for Medicaid or qualify for LIS and you have not yet told them? Okay? Right now, in the last call, I told you that all the levels went up. So LIS levels went up, Medicaid went up. And so with those levels going up, more and more of your own client base, your own customers right now may qualify for Medicaid, may qualify for LIS. So are you going to let your competition say, hey, did you know you qualify for Medicaid and I could get you on a DSNP, and let your competition do that for your clients and move them to a DSNP plan or an LIS plan? Or are you going to do that for them? Or are you going to let the carrier do that for you? You know, that's scary. I know some of you don't trust that process. Some of the carriers are doing it, like Devoted. They're calling and helping them apply for Medicaid and getting them on the DSNP plan, all while keeping you agent of record. I think it's smart for them to do that. But I personally think you should be doing it yourself, okay? If you don't know how to do a Medicaid application, if you don't know how to do LIS, please reach out to one of us so we can train you. It's very simple. It's an online application. And then we're going to give you tips and tricks on how you can go through that and ensure that your members are being serviced with Medicaid and LIS, okay? Now, with that, I know some of you are receiving leads. Some of these leads, maybe it's been hard to get a hold of, but maybe you do get them on the phone, okay? And a lot of these folks might have filled out an online form or filled out a web card or called in at one point or answered an email, and they're going to try to get you off the phone as quick as possible. It's just natural that this happens, right? So what I want to share with you is a quick video of a guy that I found that does sales training. His name is Marc Wayshak. And so if you are on YouTube, I highly recommend that you go out and you take a look at some of his videos because he does a great job at sales training. So what I would do is go to YouTube, subscribe to his channel, and he's got all sorts of everything from psychological sales to, you know, easy sales phone tips and all of those great things. But I'm going to share with you a quick 5-minute video. And what he's doing in this video is a live phone sales call, and you're going to see exactly how he does his sales calls. And this is a cold call, so it's tough. But you're going to see how he approached the call, and hopefully you can take this into consideration in case you get a cold lead or a lead that, you know, is semi-interested, because we get those from time to time. And then we, you know, a lot of you chalk it up and say, oh, that was a bad lead, but maybe it wasn't worked right. Maybe we didn't say the right thing. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. I hope everyone can hear it. And if not, just shoot me a message in the chat. But you should be able to hear everything here. Let me just make sure that I've got that all set up. Yep, we're good to go. And so here's the video.
Hello, it's Colin.
Hey, Colin. Marc Wayshak calling. Did I catch you at a bad time there?
Yeah, I'm a little caught up with some things right now.
Okay, well, fair enough. Would it be okay if I took 30 seconds, told you why I called, and if after it doesn't make sense, we could just hang up? Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, great. So I'm a sales strategist who works with mid-sized companies to create a game plan for dramatically increasing sales. And my clients typically come to me when they're losing sales to low-cost competitors. Their teams are inconsistently hitting sales targets, or finally they're just frustrated with the lack of results from their existing sales team. Any of those issues ring true to you?
Yeah, actually, not hitting sales goals has kind of been a problem for my company recently.
Tell me just a little bit more about that.
Well, you know, we have about 20 to 25 agents in my office, and it just seems like we've been losing a lot of these big condo sales to our competitors recently. We're not moving quick enough. When we are showing the places, we seem to be just somehow not closing the sales. I haven't been able to figure out what the real issues are, but we're definitely losing some business.
Mm. And, I mean, what have you done to fix this?
You know, I've had some chats with my bigger sales guys to see what the problems are that they seem to think. You know, why aren't they closing these sales compared to what they were doing 6 months ago and a year ago? Again, we haven't really been able to put our finger on something. The market is great right now. There's places that are selling in a day to 2 days after they go on the market, and we're just not getting those places. We're having people come to us. People want to buy condos. They want to move quickly, and we're just losing out on a lot of great places.
And it's a really common issue I hear. I mean, what would you say this issue is costing you and your organization?
Tough to say. I'd probably say around $2.5 to $3 million.
Okay. Well, Colin, can I make a recommendation?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't we set up an appointment and get together face to face? I'd say it takes about 60 minutes or so, and we can talk this further. I think there are some ideas that I could share with you to really help you solve this challenge. I mean, does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I'd be willing to set up a meeting.
Okay, great. So, what works for you next week?
Next week, I think I'm pretty busy Monday and Tuesday, but I could do like a Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning.
Okay. Looking at my calendar, Wednesday afternoon is fine with me. So, what's best for you Wednesday afternoon?
Hold on, I'm just pulling up my calendar. Anytime after 2 p.m.
Okay. I can actually make 2:30 work.
That's perfect.
Okay, and so the address for your office, just to confirm, is 8 Broadway Street in Boston, right?
That's correct.
Okay, great. And just before I hang up, is there anyone else that you would want to include in this conversation who might be involved in this kind of a decision?
No, really, just I'm the decision maker.
Okay.
So I think there's nobody that I can think of that I'd want to bring along.
Okay, terrific. Well, then I will see you at your office, and we will discuss this a little bit further then.
Great. Thanks for the call, Mark.
All right. Thank you, Colin.
Bye-bye.
So there is the actual prospecting call. I want to hear from you. What ideas do you take from this reenactment?
So as you can hear in the video, that was a full cold call, okay? And, cold. And there was a couple things I wanted to point out in that. And the first thing is really that, he never asked yes or no questions. It was always open-ended questions. So you got the person to really start talking about their problems, right? And then he asked, what have you done to fix it? And, he had some ideas on how to fix it. And he wasn't going to give those ideas over the phone. He wants to get in front of that person in an appointment. So guys, this is exactly the process, the walkthrough that you need to do when you get a lead. And I am going to bring on Ron from Cigna, and I can tell you that Ron has during AEP he has given leads out to agents, and so with that we've had to work those leads, and some of them came back a little cold, and that's okay. It happens because they forgot, what they were doing, and, they maybe answered a TV ad or, they filled out a card and then they kind of forgot about it. So that happens, right? I brought in Ron, and Ron's going to talk some experience about this. But before we do that, let me make sure that I've got him off mute. Ron, can you hear us?
Hey guys, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. Great, thanks. So Ron, thanks for joining us this morning. I guess the first thing first is I know you have some updates for Cigna, so you want to cover that first, and then we'll kind of dive into some ideas on how we can help these guys improve their sales.
Absolutely, and first and foremost, Justin, thank you again for giving me the time today. And I just want to start off by telling everybody Happy New Year. I know we're a little bit into January, but we haven't spoken, so I wanted to tell everybody Happy New Year. I really hope you guys had a very restful and safe holiday, and of course, looking forward to a lot of great things for 2020. In regards to Cigna, for those of you on the phone who did sell Cigna during annual enrollment period or throughout 2020, we want to thank you from Cigna. We know that whether you sold 1 or 20 or whatever the case is, every application counts to making us have a more stable position in the market. Remember that we are a 5-star plan, so definitely a lot of opportunities out there for you, as we know that there's only one other plan, which I won't mention, that's dominant in the area, that does offer that 5-star plan. But more than anything, I want to express that for those of you who don't know me, I was a broker for more than a decade in multiple markets. So I do understand what you guys are going through right now. I do understand the challenges you guys have, especially for what we were just talking about with cold calling and leads and so forth that you either get through us or through an event. But more than anything, I just want to address the fact that we know that right now we are in unprecedented times with COVID. There's a lot of challenges out there, more so than any other time. I know that I have brokers who have never sold Medicare, and this is their first year. So it definitely was a crash course in everything from, really putting your salesperson hat on to working technology, telephonic enrollment. So I just want to let you guys know that in the midst of everything that's going on, we are dedicated and committed to making sure that you guys are safe, your members are safe, and then more than anything, you continue to provide for your families via your sales. So again, Cigna's 5-star. So even though we're in the midst of the OEP, you can go ahead and enroll with a 5-star plan with us. Remember that we do have 4 different options for the HMO. We have a plan with a rich HMO, low co-payments, a give-back plan, LIS/Medi, partial Medi plan, a full Medi plan, and we also have a new PPO in Lake Orange, Osceola, and Seminole County. Remember, we're also in Daytona. We are also in Tampa. So, and we also are in South Florida, too. So if those of you who travel down to Lake Martin, St. Lucie, or Dade County, we are in that area as well, too. So the plan has a lot of great features. We have over-the-counter that rolls over. It comes in every quarter. So for those members who get a bunch of over-the-counter monthly and they find themselves at the end of the month, I need to order some stuff, but I don't know what to order anymore. It rolls over every quarter. And they only order it every quarter, so they don't have to do it every month. Our dental allowance is great. It can be used anywhere a dental provider does accept Medicare, as long as they're not on the Medicare preclusion list. And what else can I tell you that, again, like I said, we are in a position right now that we're being very aggressive. We're looking at different opportunities. And one thing that I will say is that we're looking to really hit the grassroots approach. For those of you who like to do events, to be out there in front of people, talk to people with, significant influence in the communities, please reach out to Justin so he can reach out to me, or reach out to me directly, and we can see if Cigna can, because Cigna is looking to partner all over the community. And, of course, we have all the material for you guys to stay safe. We have masks for you. We have face guards. I know that you guys are with a great organization that already offers that for you, but if you need a little extra, more protection, please reach out to me. So a lot of great things happening with Cigna. Again, I can't stress enough, 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. And also, if you guys haven't seen in the office, the HPM office, there's some goodies there. I think there's a really nice cooler. There's some gifts and stuff that will definitely be pushing towards like a prize. And they're just examples. We're going to have a lot more prizes as we move forward. But just to let you guys know, again, myself included with my other colleagues, Beth in Daytona, Marc Ianello in Tampa, please reach out to us. I'll cascade all our contact information for those of you who don't know me. Hablo español, so if any of you who feel more comfortable speaking in Spanish, please, you can reach out to me as well, too. So that's really much what I wanted to say just to kick things off for you guys. And again, for those of you who did sell Cigna, we really, really appreciate the business. And for those of you who didn't, we look forward to finding a way that you guys can capitalize on our 5-star plan.
Ron, thanks. And I'll just, talk really quickly about Cigna. And if you guys haven't taken a look at their product offering, I'll say the one plan, if you look at one plan, look at their quad core. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ron, but 0 premium, 0 PCP, 0 specialist. Let me repeat that again, 0 specialist, and 0 on Tier 1 and Tier 2 drugs. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
So what other core plan is going to offer something like that, right? So, and it's 5-star, which means if you bump into somebody that's not happy with their plan and you show them the 0 PCP, 0 specialist, hey, that could save them hundreds of or maybe even thousands of dollars a year if they're visiting quite a few specialists. I mean, that's huge, and it's 5 stars, so you can get them set up for February 1st effective, as early as that. Great plan. Everyone knows Cigna. I mean, most of us on this call at one point, if we've been in the work at any type of company, I think I've had Cigna like twice in my life. Always a great company. So, you know, that's what I would say. One takeaway, look at their core plan, 5-star. But Ron, we have some a couple extra minutes here today, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit as an agent. And like you said, you used to go out there and sell. You used to be captive. You used to be a broker. And in 2 of like the toughest markets in the country, like LA and Miami, like you're a beast, man. So I'll ask you this, you know, with everything going on right now, you know, COVID, and, you know, maybe some doctors are not seeing you, and maybe there's a few events and things are awkward right now. If you were out there selling right now as a broker, offering, you know, Cigna and you know, maybe some of the other carriers out there, what would you do for marketing? What's the first thing you would do?
Well, first off, just to really quickly piggyback off your point, guys, keep in mind, remember, there's, again, like Justin was saying, there's probably nobody that you'll ever sit with that doesn't know who Cigna is.
Right.
We live in a city that has such huge organizations like Disney and you know, Lockheed Martin that have commercial products. So if those of you who focus on T65, which brings me to my point of what I would be doing, I would be focusing right now a lot on the T65s. Right now is the time of the year where, you know, there's a lot of people trying to switch plans, and that's great. You want to focus on that too. But for a long-term plan, even leading into AEP, the recognition, you're getting your name out there, I like the T65 approach, and I say it with piggybacking off of the Cigna brand, because, like I said, a lot of these members that are going to be doing, you know, looking into their Medicare options, a lot of you know that when you sit with them, and while, again, a lot of other carriers are great products, which, again, I won't mention them on the call, but when you sit with turning 65 member, you know that when you mention the company with that red apple or that other company that starts with a W, they don't know what you're talking about. And albeit, eventually when you do explain it to them, they're great plans, and, you know, you continue to do what you got to do. But think about this. Think about when you sit with a member and you sit down with them and they have all these concerns. I've been with this company for 20 years. I have insurance. And then you mention to them a name that they know. It's just that one step closer to building rapport with them and building trust with them. So the first thing I would be definitely trying to market right now is trying to see how I can target my T65 members. As everybody on the phone knows, these are the members that are obviously going to provide us with the most upfront commission. But also, too, guys, when we talk about this business, we talk about retention. And retention is a huge thing. And I can tell you as a broker that my longest standing members, hands down, even going back to my Miami days, that are still in the books, are my T65 members. Why? Because I explained it to them. I introduced them to Medicare. I gave them their first look into Medicare, and they trust me. So that's going to be a long-standing relationship. So that would be my first thing to look at. And then plus now added with the 5-star plan of Cigna and the fact that Justin mentioned our Quad 4, our flagship plan. You're coming from a commercial plan to a brand name that you know. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to have a very low-cost maximum out of pocket, which is under $3,500, and everything is zero. Primary specialists, labs, x-rays, along with all these other great benefits. That would be my first area of attack.
So
my second area would be, yes, go ahead.
Well, if I can pause you real quick on that, Ron.
Yeah.
So I'm an agent. I love T65s. I mean, yeah, I'm on board, Ron. What's the first step? How do I find T65s? Where do I go? What do I do? What's the first step in that? What's your thought process?
Well, my first thought would be, first and foremost, because we are in such a, I guess, interesting time right now. Normally, and I know I have some, because I kind of went through a little bit of the people, the guests, all 22 of you that are on the call today, and I know some of you have some experience in this. Normally, you know, some mailers to set up a T65 seminar, which is always a great time. You get to meet a lot of people. You definitely do get consistency, and you have the ability to meet members who are prospective members who are looking for information and guidance. But because of what's going on right now, we're going to have to find a different way. So if you aren't tech savvy, you can look to me. You can look to HPM to maybe set up some online seminars, maybe do a mail out for the online seminars, some Facebook advertising, things of that nature.
So educational is the way to go. So hosting educational Medicare seminars to attract T65s, is that what you're thinking?
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, even though, let me just say this clear, even though we are going through this pandemic right now and there are a lot of obstacles, rest assured there still are some places that are, allowing people to congregate, very safe, social distance, maybe outside. I would even say go outside the box. One of the ideas that I tossed around to Cigna, and we didn't really get to do it because it was too late in the game, but was maybe look for some outdoor venues. Maybe there's a possibility there's an amphitheater at a park somewhere that you can maybe, set up a educational where you have prospective members sitting outside, maybe get together some sort of a speaker system, which I know sounds a little bit elaborate, but if you speak to myself and Justin and we can maybe come up with some ideas to maybe get some people outside, we can definitely do it. But with that being said, keep in mind, church organizations have outside venues. Some of these senior buildings, try to get in contact with some of those key players in there that have T65 members that are coming into the building or people that are residents that want to do outside events. So, and the great thing about educationals is, remember, you're just speaking educational, so there's not a lot of the pomp and circumstances doing a formal sales presentation. So definitely would be what I would want to do.
Absolutely, and I know Marc Oster's on the call right now, and that was one of his major strategies for sales, before COVID hit, and I think it stunned us when we couldn't go and physically do those things, but I think now's the time we could start to go back to doing those things, and finding senior communities and finding churches and finding senior housing facilities and hosting seminars. Now, you can do it. You can limit the amount of people, so they have to RSVP, right? Because the room, let's say the room fits, 18 people, but because of social distancing, now we can only fit 9 people or 10 people in the room. Then, limited space only, 10 seats available. And what's great about that, actually, from a marketing perspective, limited quantities actually drives phone calls because people don't want to be left out, right? So it actually has a really, pro effect on your business by limiting the amounts of seats that are available when you're doing these events. If you're doing them in person, right? If you're not able to do it in person, guys, we have the system to do a webinar. We have it. So if you want to do a webinar presentation for educational, does Ron, and I forgot to ask you this, does Cigna have an educational presentation available for the agents to do something like this?
Absolutely, we have, and I believe that we have one already set up for the new season for this new year coming up, updated. But we definitely have something. So I'll make sure to pass it along to you. So if anybody who wants, and again, guys, take the opportunity to give me a call. Say hi, call me up, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail of what we can do. So, and I'll get that to you guys.
So, and I know you're staying longer than you're supposed to, Ron, so I appreciate it. But let me ask you another question here. I'm only going to ask you a couple more, but retention, okay? You can't go see your members as often as you want. Retention, what would Ron do for retention? What did you do in the past that really worked, and what would you do right now that worked for retention?
Well, again, guys, folks, there's one thing that I want to say that has always been paramount in my maintaining a book of business, is that if you're on the call right now and you do not practice normally having a day, maybe a Monday or Tuesday, to just make at least 10, 15 calls, if that's the size of your book, then you're missing a lot of opportunities, because especially during COVID right now, because you don't have the opportunity going outside so much, I would definitely be on my phone at least once a week, spending at least a good half an hour, 45 minutes, just calling my book of business. Hey, how you guys doing? And what greater opportunity you have now during the pandemic? Mrs. Sanchez, how are you doing? I want to make sure that you're okay. I know that during the pandemic you're not allowed to go out. Have you been able to go get your prescription drugs? Do you know that we have mail order prescription drugs? Just highlight, have you ordered your over-the-counter? anything to make sure that you're contacting them. And remember, by the way, you can always throw in at the end of every single call, Ms. Sanchez, thank you again for being a loyal customer. And please, if any of this has been valuable to you, my service has been valuable to you, and you know anybody who's looking to have that kind of service that I've been providing for you all these years, please feel free to reach out to them and give them my contact information. So twofold, you want to build up, you want to continue to maintain that book, but you also want to be able to try to conjure some referrals. So I would hands down say to you, at least Monday or Tuesday, the beginning of the week, or whenever you want to do it, spend a good 45 minutes to an hour just reaching out to your members. I mean, if you want to take a step further and maybe send them a thank you card or whatever the case is, we have thank you cards from Cigna. So for those of you who are selling Cigna, I have in my storage facility Cigna thank you cards. You can reach out to me. But point being, phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. Remember, at the end of the day, folks, everybody on this call is a salesperson. You wouldn't be on this call if you weren't, whether you're a rookie or a 10-year vet. And at the end of the day, everybody who's been a salesperson for more than 5 minutes knows that being on the phone, being proficient on the phone and speaking to your members via phone is vital. And especially now during this pandemic, being on the phone, as they say, dialing for dollars is definitely the way to go.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, and I start my calls every Monday. I start the calls off talking about training. And, you know, you've been in the business for a long time. I just realized yesterday I've had my license for 16 years, and I'm like, oh, man, that's where all my gray hairs are coming from.
Time flies, man.
And so, you know, I'm going into my 16th year, you know, somewhat focused on Medicare. You know, in the last few years that's changed a little bit. But, you know, with the longevity in this business, it's phenomenal. But, you know, the question that I have is, you know, with training, you've been in business a long time. How important is training for you right now? And what would you be focusing on, like sharpening your knife right now? What would you be doing? Like, you know, maybe OEP is a little slow, but we're getting ready to go into lock-in, and then, you know, we're going to start up our 22. But training, like in the off season, you know, these guys, you know, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, the Bucks are going to the Super Bowl, but as soon as, you know, a lot of the other teams, like our Dolphins, they're done for. But a lot of these pro athletes, now their off training begins, their off season training begins, and they continue to sharpen their knives on their skills, you know. So as an agent, what would you be doing to sharpening your knife, your tools right now, getting ready for the next, you know, lock-in or getting ready for OEP?
Well, I think the main focus you want to do is make sure that you're as knowledgeable as the plans as possible in every aspect. And again, I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed. And I'm speaking specifically to those new brokers that are on the phone today. Is that the reality is this, guys? Even though there's about 25 different plans in all respective Central Florida, the reality is that you want to focus and become a subject matter expert on just a few of the core plans. You know, talk to Justin, talk to myself, talk to a broker that you know that's been in the business for a while, and say, hey, listen, what are the plans that really are, you know, the most prominent ones in our area? And once you have that and you know what that is, make sure that you understand. And I'm going to use one of the prominent plans in Central Florida being Cigna. Find out what the Quad 4 is. Find out the HMOs. Find out what the PPOs. Find out what the differences are between Silver and Fit and Silver sneakers. Find out what plans offer online applications and telephonic enrollments. You know, make yourself a subject matter expert on these plans. Because remember one thing that, and everybody who's been a broker for many years knows this, is that you want to make sure that your member is that your prospective member sees you as a resource for all things insurance. So if they have a question on any of the plans in the area, you can jump and talk to them about it. But even if you have a member who has a question about car insurance, maybe you get yourself familiar with somebody who is sells car insurance or home insurance, so they can come to you, and then maybe you guys can reciprocate referrals. You know, essentially to answer Justin's question is you want to make sure that as a broker, which is very difficult sometimes, guys, I'm here to tell you that having all the time in the world is sometimes not having any time at all. And what I mean by that is sometimes you get so caught up in not having things to do that you start getting involved in other things. In order for you to be successful in this business, activity, activity, activity. And that includes, the phone calls and more than anything, training. Getting yourself, I've been in this business for a very long time, and I find myself finding out things about Medicare and competing plans all the time. And I'm sure Justin can agree with me at that there's always something new to learn. So,
always.
If you find yourself during OEP on a downtime, but you don't feel confident on working the online enrollment platform, get with somebody, call with somebody. Make sure that you're up to date with everything that is plans as far as what their offerings are, their over-the-counters, their dental programs. Make yourself familiar with the plan so that you don't leave any opportunities. I can tell you myself as a broker many times, and this is early on in my career, I would leave the house and I would say, they would ask me a question. I was like, I'm not really sure. And then on my way home, oh my goodness, this plan had this. Or maybe when I got home and I studied some, this plan is what they needed, and I didn't have that information at the time. So I would say during OEP, again, like Justin was saying, training. Cigna themselves, we are going to be launching very soon, almost a weekly or twice a week, trainings on everything Cigna, from our LIS Medi plans to our quad plans to our PPOs to how to deal with the dental, and we were going to take it a little bit more and talk to you guys about things about how to apply for LIS, how to apply for Medicare and Medicaid options out there. So again, I would definitely focus, if you're not super busy on OEP, which we hope that will change very shortly with activity and finding things to do, but make sure that you're up to date with all the plans you have in your area, competing plans. But I would say mostly get up to date with Cigna.
I like that.
In all honesty, in all honesty, I think that the best thing for you guys right now, whether you're a seasoned broker or a new broker, you want to make sure that you're up to date with all your training so that when you do have an opportunity to be with a prospective member, you become their subject matter expert on all things Medicare.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And we're going to talk more next week, because one theme that I see happening with our successful agents is they become a resource for their clients. Yes, it's good to learn all the plans or have an idea of what the plans offer, but we can find that information in our Gold Key. We keep all that there. We're working on a new platform where the agents can, find and compare plans. So, where the information, you don't have to memorize all that, but having a good idea of, what, if you picked one plan from Cigna, which one would it be and why? And so you got to know each carrier in that regard. But resources, Medicaid, housing, how to save money on prescriptions, what doctors are great, how to help your seniors with their light bill, how to apply for LIS, how to help them apply for Social Security, how to help them apply for Medicare, right? How to help them find a Social Security disability lawyer, because I've helped people get disability, and then I got their Medicare business because I helped them. So, and then I got the whole family too, because I did way above and beyond what anyone else was willing to do for that client. And it takes time, but those resources, when I became good and I got entrenched with this, I never had to look for leads. I didn't. People just came to me because I was the resource. I was the guy with the, how do I get a free cell phone? And Justin knows where all the doctors are. And, all of those little tips and tricks out there as a broker, you become a full community resource. And I think that will drive your business, but you've got to learn it. You've got to train. You've got to sharpen that edge. So, yeah, just to add to your point, Ron, I think that's fantastic. Know what benefits are out there by which companies, but also know what other things are out there that can help your clients. And again, going back to retention, if you go and you start calling your clients and they're saying, I'm having a rough time with my meds right now, hey, you've got solutions for them. You have ideas. You have ways to save them money, and they will be forever grateful. And they don't pay you for this, right? You don't get anything extra to do this kind of stuff. You get paid. First of all, you're a service. You're part of the community. You got your license. It says it when you signed up for your license that you represent the community and you're out there to help people, right? So that's number one. But number two, you're also going to be rewarded for referrals. I guarantee it. Not everybody, but I guarantee you will get referrals just by doing goodwill out in the community. I guarantee it. So Yeah, I think that that's great. And Ron, thank you very much for your input and your thoughts on what you would be doing as an agent right now. Because it wasn't that long ago that you and I were out there scrapping the streets. You know, it's a tough life. We know. But I think it all goes back. If you have a sizable book of business, I would just concentrate on that. And if you're still looking for clients, follow Ron's lead on what he's saying to do for marketing. And I think everyone in this call can be successful. It's really up to you on whether or not you do it. You just got to go out there and do it.
Absolutely.
Cool. Ron, thanks again for being on the call. Thanks to everyone for being on the call. We really appreciate your time. We went a little over today, but I'm happy to because we have excellent content and ideas, especially from Ron. So with that, we'll see you next Monday, 9 o'clock. And I hope everyone has a fantastic week. Thanks again for being on the call.
Thanks, Justin. Bye, guys.
You got it.
Be safe.